Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. Today, I want to give you five of the biggest lessons we learned in 2021, and if you did not learn these, you need to learn these right now. So before we get into it, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, because when you actually subscribe to the channel, you get alerts when videos go up, and you can catch the hilarious bloopers that I may or may not have added to the video, or forgot to take out rather, and y'all get to laugh before I realize it and go back and edit the video. So those who saw, the 37 of y'all who saw the original video that was up yesterday, which we got re-uploaded today, that's why you subscribe. That's why you watch when the video first comes out. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. Here are the top 5 lessons that we learned in 2021 and that you should have learned in 2021. And really, these are lessons that are going to translate for forever. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. The first one, be patient and don't panic. Okay, be patient and do not panic. The market is up close to 30% so far in 2021. We have hit a record high 70 times in 2021. And I told y'all, I think it might have been the most important stat in investing. You might want to go back and check that video, that we hit an all-time high. We hit an all-time high rather, on average every 21 days. We hit 70 in 2021, which is the most since 1995. This is why you don't panic, because remember, October and September, when the market was rocky, we were talking about the debt ceiling, we're talking about inflation. Everybody, well, not everybody, most people who definitely weren't subscribed to this channel and watching on public and on the emails and everything, they were panicking. They were selling. It's, oh my God, I just started investing. This is the worst thing ever. Everything's on fire, all bad, right? Then we heard about Omicron. Market failed. Then we heard about the Delta variant. Market failed. And I kept telling y'all, continue the dollar cost average. Just stay on the course. Continue your plan. Stick with quality investments. Stick with quality stocks. And you're going to be all right. And if you did that, you have been all right. Because again, we hit another all-time high. So if you have invested at any point prior to this week, really at any point after Monday, right, you should have made money if you invested in something that was generally pretty good. That's how patience works. So when you see the market fall, whenever it may be, you don't need to panic. If you should have learned this in 2020. Remember, the market fell 30-some-odd% back in March. Everything was bad. We heard about this new thing called COVID. We all reacted, and market in the day was up 14, almost 15% or so, right? Just should have stayed put. Don't panic. There's almost never a time to panic. You can go back to 2008. You can go to the .com crisis. You pick a time period. Panicking almost never ends up in profit. Okay, so that is lesson number 1. I put this out on public. We had 180,000 views on that post, and patience was by far the number 1 lesson that people learned in 2021. Now, lesson number 2 is don't chase hot trends. A lot of times we get enamored and say, oh my God, this thing is up 200%. It's up 99% in a day. Let me go and FOMO, fear of missing out, into the stock. Take $100, take $1,000 and just say, look, I don't want to miss this. I got to invest in this now and hold it. And then you turn around and then you lose money. You don't want to do that. This goes back to being patient. If you like it, you need to take time to research. If you like it and you think that it's going to continue to do that, you have to ask yourself, why, right? Why is it up? Why would it continue to go up? And is this, have I missed it? And that is usually the case. Anytime you see something that's up, 50-something% in a day or in a week, you might have missed something. And you don't want to just jump into it because everybody else already jumped into it. What's a good example? Shiba Inu. Once it hit, it went up, and Elon Musk was talking about it, and everybody was kind of on it. You missed it by then, right? At that point, it was on SNL, Saturday Night Live, and it hadn't really recovered since. That happens, right? You never want to just jump onto the bandwagon just because everybody else is on the bandwagon and everybody else has made money. That's because they were in it early. I have another very good example of this as well, and we'll get into that, I think, at lesson number 4 or 5. Okay, and hopefully it didn't die. Okay, did not die on me. Number 3, watch out for the IPOs. IPOs, initial public offerings, is the first time that people like me and you are able to invest in certain companies. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Coinbase, that was rough for some of y'all when y'all first jumped into it. Revvion is still out there. Y'all know my approach to it. I buy it, well, with very, 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 very few exceptions. I almost never do IPOs, but I did Revvion, I did Snowflake. Both of them I bought, I locked them away. I'm not looking at them, and there's both very small amounts. Why did I do that? Because IPOs can be rough in the very beginning. We've seen something like C3 AI that was down, last I checked, like 50%. And that's a company I actually liked. I think I did a video on it where they had certain things going for them. They had the right people, I thought, back in the company, and didn't work so far, right? Still very early. You got Airbnb, you got Robinhood out there. I'm just naming some that come to mind. You had DWAC, which was linked to the former president. Some things worked, some things took off in the very beginning, other things absolutely fell apart. That's how IPOs go. It is always like that. And I absolutely guarantee you, it's going to be like that in 2022. There's going to be some hot IPO. We're all going to talk about it. I'm going to do a video on it. We'll analyze it. We'll talk about it. I will probably say, no, I'm not going to invest in it. I likely will not invest in it. It'll go up, it'll drop. Then everybody makes the wrong moves, okay? If you do an IPO, which again, I don't always recommend, but if you do, you need to be looking for the long term, meaning I'm going to buy this. I'm not going to look until 5 years from now. I'm not going to look until 10 years from now. Because again, some of the best companies that we have, Facebook being one of those in terms of stock market returns for investors, ain't good. It might not start off so hot in the very beginning. So just know that. Okay, a lot of people get burned by IPOs every single year and don't learn that lesson. I'm telling you right now, in 2022, be careful about IPOs. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying don't do it at all. I'm saying get your expectations in the right frame of mind. Personally, I have done 2, and I don't plan on doing no more. Okay, them's the ones. I ain't doing no more. All right, going down to number 4. Watch out for the pump and dump companies. These are very, very, very cheap companies. And anytime that you get a community around a particular investment, that's what you want to be worried about. Okay, when your stock or your investment or your coin has a community around it, maybe it's a huge group chat for people who hold that stock, maybe it's a hashtag, maybe it's memes about that particular company, beware about that. What happens in pump and dump is that people will get in early, right? They'll pay, let's say, just make the math simple, $1 per share, right? And then they get together, this community pumps it and pumps it and pumps it. They talk about it on Twitter, on Discord, all these apps, and just really get the word out there about this company. The stock goes from $1 per share when they bought it to $100 per share, which is when it pops up on your radar. By the time you're buying it at 100 or 200 or 300 or whatever price that you're getting it at, that's when the people at $1 say, all right, we've got it here. Let's sell everything. Let's take the profit and leave you, the new investor who had never heard of this before, holding the bag. It happens all the time. Shiba Inu was one of those, right? Dogecoin was one of those. And this is, I said Shiba Inu earlier about SNL. It's really Dogecoin was super, super cheap. People had talked about it. They had memes. It absolutely blew up and it absolutely collapsed like I said it would, just like everything else, almost everything else. AMC and GameStop seem to have been the exception to that rule. However, the mechanics are still the same. You get you a hashtag, you get you a group of people, they buy cheap, they bid it up, and then they sell it. That was the whole case of what Wolf of Wall Street was. It was basically a pump and dump penny stock scheme, which is why I tend to avoid any stock. Y'all tell me, oh, go look at this company. The first thing I look at is stock price. If it's $5 or below, I'm absolutely not talking about it. That's not what I do here, right? We don't want to put out very risky investments like that and end up in a pump and dump scheme or be subject to a pump and dump scheme or a pump and dump coin. This can happen, okay? That is what tends to happen when you get something that's really, really cheap and you get a community behind it. You don't see people who invest in Apple do stuff like this. You don't see people who invest in Microsoft. Both very good, legitimate, long-term companies. There is no Microsoft gang. Right, there's no hashtag for Microsoft investors where they're like, buy and hold Microsoft forever, diamond hands. Like, no, because it's a legitimate company and they don't need that. If a company or a stock or a coin needs that, that is a problem. Okay, and that's where you want to be aware. I'm like, wait a minute, why is everybody like so, I don't know, enthusiastic about this particular company, but all the rest of them that are quite legit, have been around for quite some time, not struggling financially, none of those are doing that. Why? Right? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Okay, that's my diatribe, my rant on number 4. And then number 5 is research, 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 research some more. You do want to take the time to actually read about what you want to invest in. Take some time to look at how the investment is done in the recent past. I like looking at a year, I like looking at 6 months, and then digging in more. If a company is down 30% in 6 months, I'm probably not interested. It's a reason why it's been falling, and I'm not going to sit around and find out. If a company is up significantly in the last 6 months and it's up in the last year, that tells me, okay, let's go read some more. I did an entire video about my 3-step research process. It's super easy to do, but it can help you save, find good companies, but also save you a little bit of money so that you don't jump into something that is, not great. Okay, so that is the top 5. There's one other thing I do want to tell you, want to illustrate for you when it comes to learning about, taking these lessons and using them for 2021. So you always want to try and put yourself in position to win in the future. So for example, we talked about this before. I did a video in April and did a video in May, and I actually added it to my student watch list that I'd be talking about. I'd be talking about it inside the Investors Toolkit. And I put CAR, Avis, ticker symbol CAR, Avis, the rental car company. I put it on a list when it was $88 a share. Okay, $88 a share. Talked about it then, did a video and say, look, if travel does this, if this happens, this is the company I like. Okay, this is that research part. I did the research, found one company. It was really like 3 or 4 that I liked, but found one that I liked and said, this is the one I believe in. This is the one I think can do okay. This is the one I think that can do well. Now, I didn't think it was going to be a 400 and some odd %, but that did happen. But here's the thing, and here's a mistake that people make. I have it actually here, on November 2nd, okay, it was $88 a share when I had talked about it. On November 2nd, it jumped 99% after earnings. They said, hey, we did really well. Companies absolutely just took off, went to the moon, as most people would say. It went up 99% on November 2nd, okay? At that point, at November 2nd, it was too late. It was too late, okay? It went from $88 a share up to, I think, like $357 per share. So it didn't go from 88 to 357 during that one day. It was slowly moving up and then jumped that 99% right after that. Now, most people, if you didn't listen to, steps or lesson number 2 is don't chase, right? Don't just follow stuff just because it jumped. A lot of people jump right in. Oh, it went up 99%. Let me hop into it as if the chances of it going up another 99% in a day is realistic. It was not. If you invested on November 2nd, you actually lost money because as of today, it is $206 a share. So it went from $357 down to $206. Now you were patient and you did your research and you bought it at $88, $90, $100 a share, all before November 2nd, you were fine. Right, you are still fine. You're not as fine as what you were when it was at 357. When I was like, all right, I got my 99%. It's time for me to get out. Like that's as good as it's going to get. But if you were chasing, you just hopped into it. You didn't do your research. You just hopped into it and said, well, I lost money. I bought it at 350, thinking it was going to go to 500. Why? Why would it do that? Why? No, the time to get it is to move in advance. It was back in April, it was back in May, right? Which is why when we talk at the end of this week about what we're looking for 2022, the process is to do the research, to not chase and figure out what is going to be that solid thing in the near future, right? It is not, the expectation is not to make 400%. I wish that were the case. Okay, anything I'm telling y'all, I don't think it's going to be up 400%. We get lucky if it goes up that high, but if it beats the market, which is what I am trying to do, that's good. That is the goal, to try and beat the market if I'm looking for an individual stock. Otherwise, I just 100% do index funds. Index funds are still important, okay? You're never going to hear me not say that it's important. All right, so those are the lessons. I'll go back over those very, very quickly. Number 1, because obviously the game is on, we'll talk about why I'm wearing an OU jersey, which is where I'm from, but I actually went to Texas for grad school. So I'm a bit of an odd person, but the home team is the home team. All right, let's go ahead and finish it out. So be patient. Be patient, be patient, be patient, and do not panic when the market drops. Don't panic really, if you have a quality company, there's no real reason to panic. Even though I'm losing money on Square and my son is losing money on PayPal, I'm still not panicking. I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all, but I'm not panicking. Come moving day this Friday, them stocks is gone, and we're gonna pick something we think is doing better. The reason why I don't have to panic, and the reason why I don't have to, I can be patient because I'm diversified. It's not the only thing I own, right? We talked about that, and having different companies to balance you out in times like this. Square is one of the very few companies that was down this year for me, so they can lose. It's fine. Apple is holding your boy down. Google is holding your boy down. Okay, so that's why you want to diversify. All right, number two, we talked about don't chase hot trends. You want to be ahead of the trend, ahead of the curve, if at all possible. If it's something jumps up, some crazy number, don't just jump into it just because. Do your research, figure that out, and then make that decision for yourself. Watch out for the IPOs, number three. Number four, avoid those pump and dumps. Please avoid those pump and dumps. And number five, do your research. Did a video on that research process. All right, that is it for me. I am gonna go back and watch the game. I will see y'all tomorrow. I have a list of a lot of things we gotta talk about, especially for 2022. I wanna talk about what stocks I'm selling out of and what moves I'm making for 2022. Give you guys a list of things I'm looking forward to for 2022 as well. I got a lot of work to do for my course because we like to add and tweak things ever so often, and I will be releasing for my students. Only for my students, I'll be releasing my January 22 stock list. Have about 15, I would say 10 to 15 names that I like going into 2022 and which ones we should consider investing in. But that's exclusive. That's exclusive. From point A to point B, the Investor's Toolkit is the easiest, simplest investing course out there, period. Started my career in education, then I got into finance, and I'm telling you, that's the course that you want to be in. You want to do that by going to buildingbread.com/tools. What most people do, okay, what most people do is they just go in the stock market, they learn, and then they learn by losing. They learn by making those mistakes. I think that's a little costly. I think you can save yourself some time and some money by learning from someone who has made those mistakes for you, but also has the pedigree of seeing this over and over and over again from an advisor's perspective and really put together a good 7-step simple process to get you investing in the right way and to find a lot of these companies sometimes in advance, like we did with Avis and plenty of others. You already know I talked about Google in the last year, up more than 60%. Okay, then that's not the only one. That was not a rarity that we chose and picked out a lot of companies that did quite well. Whew. All right, that is it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.